Good morning, everybody. Cheers. Hope you're all enjoying your coffee. It's my second for the morning. Yes, all fired up, all caffeinated, ready to go. Woo! I'm kidding. Sorry. Super tired. How's everyone? Sorry about last week. Things get in the way. Life gets in the way. Work gets in the way. But little late to coffee? No, it's never too late to have coffee, Alan. Never, ever. Spongy Mike. Shouldn't be. Define spongy. Is it not clear? Is that any better? Sounds like it's rubbing. Oh, it's over. I don't think so. Let's if I put it there. How's that? If I just stick it on the table. So chat's not letting me type anything in chat. That's really interesting. Better? Okay, it's just not on me. It's just, I've just put it on the table. Okay, well, hopefully that'll just work. Hey, Peter. And hopefully it's clear enough. I don't know what that's about. I mean, it's on my t-shirt. Might have been moving around, I guess. I don't know, but I don't think so. Anyway. Oh, sorry. Oh, mega tired. Gonna be a fun one today. I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, I think it was because of rubbing against my t-shirt. Maybe. It is, the weather is improving a little bit. We had a really cold week last week. Well, cold for Melbourne anyway. But, like I had like ice all over my glass on my car, my windows in my car. That type of cold, which is, again, not as cold as it gets overseas, sure, but pretty cold for here. But no ice on my windows this morning, which is good. So I'm in a t-shirt today. I mean, the heater's on. It's been on since 4 o'clock this morning. Body hurts. Have been playing golf the last 3 days. 3 days in a row of golf on your computer, and your body hurts. No, I'm kidding. Good on you for playing. I can't play golf anymore. I used to play golf a lot, but arthritis in my shoulders. No, can't do it. Oh well. On the Wii. That's funny. That was terrible. On the Wii. But anyway. Just pushing each other with the clubs. Bang, bang, bang. Hello, Sam. How you doing? So I need 10K. Can anyone lend me their credit card? No, not that type of 10K. I don't need that type of 10K. Nor do I need any resistors. But what 10K do I need? That's the question. I could even get away with maybe 8K. Maybe not 6. 10 would be great. 12 would be awesome.
Alan Madsen says 6,735. No, you have the PIN code.
Awesome, thanks. Now I just need the credit card number, please. Gold bullion. Yeah. I'll just take it around to my nearest 7-Eleven store and cash it. What shiny new thing have you seen? Oh, right. No. Oh, no. No, we're not shopping. We're not shopping. We're cursing.
Alan Madsen says don't know who have the card.
Oh, right. So I got to use someone else's card with your PIN number and hope it works. I don't think that's how it goes. I mean, if you're gonna be half generous, you might as well be fully generous. Is the 3D printer working? See, okay, hey Dave, it's not no, it's I still have parts I need to replace on it, so it's look, it's working, but there's only certain filaments I can print on it. Sorry, just got a magnet hit my microphone. I don't know who has the no. I'm confused. Anyway, people are just giving me random parts of their credit card. 10K RPM motor for tiny watch vibrate. Yeah, I want it to vibrate so hard all your bones shatter in your hand. Moo Dutch Taurus. How's everyone's week been? What have you all been up to? So to answer your question, Dave, I can only print PLA on it, and anytime I try to print anything other than just straight PLA, it just doesn't work. But I've got new extruder gears and stuff for it. I haven't swapped it out because I set up the second X1 carbon, and that's set up right now. The AMS is on the floor, and I'm just printing ABS with it through the back. So I've got one that's set up just for ABS, and one that I can only do PLA on right now. But I've got the parts to. Well, I'm hoping that'll fix that one, and eventually I'll get the AMS connected to the second one. 15K RPM fan would be even cooler. Yeah, not on the wrist. I wouldn't think so. Waiting for a new PCB with an AT Tiny 412 on it. There are so many versions of the AT Tiny now, it is just out of control. Hey, Christian. So yesterday assembling and reassembling a PCB with an ESP2S3 that didn't want to be programmed until I gave up and threw it away, and today I found that I had a serial terminal interfering. I do that all the time. It's actually happening right now. I just got ready for the stream, and I opened the serial port, and it says could not exclusively lock the port. So I've got a Visual Studio window that's minimized. I've got about 17 Visual Studio Code windows open. One of them has a serial connection open, and I don't know which one it is. So I'm gonna have to go through every single freaking one of these windows. I keep knocking the microphone to find out which one it is, so I can close that serial window, so I can open this one for the stream. Like, is that just ridiculous or what? I better do that now because I'm going to forget, and then which one could it possibly be? Actually, I don't have 17 open today. Oh, found it already. It was my Reflow Master Pro project that had serial open. What's a 10K Kelvin? Because it's not that cold today. Actually, it's not. AJ, is that a program failed at around? Yeah, it'll do that. Yeah, it's. I feel like ESP Tool used to be much better about that. It used to be able to grab it and lock it. I don't know. There's a lot. So they've changed a lot in. Okay. So today the stream, I'm not going to tell you what it is yet still, because you're all going to go, ugh. But today's stream is going to include just a little bit of ranting on Espressive and their choices with their latest Arduino versions. Arduino Core versions for the ESP32. So, yeah. Yeah. There's going to be a little bit of ranting while I work on what I have to work on, and the ranting will explain why I even have to do it. And yeah, I thought you were going to say country music. Do you want me to play country music, as in on YouTube, or did you want me to get an instrument and play? Because neither are going to happen. Just saying. And you had how many ideas? No, Visual Studio Code, I can have stacks open, and it works fine. I don't get slowdowns or anything, but it gets very unmanageable. Like when you're or on the Mac, you command tildering to move through the different windows. Yeah, I know you can do it on Windows as well. I just don't know what the keys are, and so like I'm just going tick 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 tick, trying to find the right one. And they all say up top Platform IO in the banner, so they don't actually give you your project name in the banner. So you got to look at the code to see which project it is. Anyway, it's really frustrating. Get out the banjo. I actually like. I don't want to play the banjo, and I'm not. But so I've been listening to. Started quite unexpectedly listening to a lot of Mumford and Sons, and which obviously Winston Marshall is not part of the band anymore. If you don't know what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about, that's fine. But he played the banjo in Mumford and Sons. They've got a very unique, distinct sound, their band, and I really liked it. I liked it way more than I used to like the banjo. Excuse the pun. Yeah, I like. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I listen to. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're not. Let's not go into music. Rather a banjo and not a violin. A violin can be nice. Depends what it's playing. You can play the violin bow on a banjo. Can you? I wouldn't know. Apparently, banjo is like one of the easiest instruments to learn. Apparently, like folks that want to who want to learn guitar will learn on a banjo first. I don't know. I'm speaking absolute shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's move on. So today, 10K. Anyone got guesses for what 10K I need to find and why? Banjos remind me of deer hunting. What? There's a connection there that I don't understand, Peter. No, they're not resistors. It's not 10K resistors, and it's not 10K money. Bowed banjo, fretted, chasing. Okay. Shipu posted a video in Discord in the live streams of someone playing. That's a very large banjo. Is that a cello banjo? Anyway, hello Ray. White LEDs. No 10K followers just because you can. You mean I need to delete my other followers to get back down to 10K? Is that what we're talking about? Deliverance. Oh my god, I haven't seen that in forever. But I don't recall the soundtrack for it. I haven't said hi to everyone in chat. I'm going to do that now. I'm so out of practice. Jishipu, cock-a-doodle-doo, good morning. Mr. England, oink, hello. Sean, Moto, John Clayton, hello, John. Tangent, not quite tangent. Hello, sorry, I'm just in a silly mood. Johnny, hi. AJ, hello. AJ's going to absolutely hate the stream today. Hate it. It's going to be so funny. So much fun. Beata, hello. Ellen, hello. Peter Homan, hi. Are you settled into your home? Have you set up your new garage yet? Are you accepting visitors yet? Amory, hello. Dave, hello. I'm just going to go all that other end. Ray, hi. Sam. What is it? 10K display, 10K resolution, laser marker, 10K. You can't just pick everything that's got a 10K in front of it. 10K shopping trolley. 10k burgers. You can't. No, that's come on. Gotta be real guesses. X Micron, hello. I'm going backwards. Christian, hello. Who have I missed? I don't know if I missed anyone. I apologize if I have. No, Dutch Taurus, hello. I don't know why I went backwards in the list. That's just stupid. Okay, anyway, Deshipu. I said you at the start. You're the first person. 2 avocados for $10. Dude, you can't even buy 1 avocado here for $10. 2? It must be pretty bad avocados. 10k war figurines. No. Of all the things everyone's guessing, it's the most obvious. Half Greek Geek, hello. How are you? Color temperature is the best I have thought up so far. If I need to find 10k, if I needed to find a light with a certain temperature, I'd say like I need to find 10k. Like there's no extra
Alan
with
Madsen
it.
says a new 3D printer.
No. Like think about what I said. I didn't say I need to find 10k like dollars, and I didn't find an extra 10k resistor or 10k something. I just said I need to find another 10k. So what do we use K for? Like in all the things that I do with my
HMS
stuff,
says SQRFT space.
Square foot space. For all the things I do and play with that I would interface with Visual Studio Code, kilo nipples. That's it. That's it. I need an extra 10k kilo nip. I need extra nipples. Yep. Got it. What about kilobytes? What about an extra 10k of RAM? 10k 3D printers. Kangaroos. Yes, 10k kangaroos is exactly what I need. Hey, Aaron. How you doing? Self-adhesive nipples. I don't want to self-adhesive. I want to grow 10k nipples. I want to cover my. No, this conversation is getting really silly. So I need to find an extra 10k of SRAM. I need to free up 10k of SRAM. Remove code you don't need. Would get awkward when it gets cold. It would be very uncomfortable. I would assume that there would be a lot of chafed nipples. Assume. Yeah. So let's talk about the 512k of SRAM inside the ESP32 S3, shall we? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the ESP32 S3 that has a whopping, you think, for a microcontroller, a whopping 512k of SRAM. And every version of the Arduino core that gets released, the amount of SRAM you get access to shrinks. And so the amount of the size of the possible available heap shrinks, and therefore the amount of contiguous free space inside the heap, because of fragmentation and stuff, shrinks until you can't even use Wi-Fi on the S3. Definitely not if it's a TLS, a secure socket connection, because there's not enough memory to allocate the SSL DNS lookup, and it fails. I mean, hey everyone, here's a microcontroller with Wi-Fi, but you can only use this many protocols because we don't give you enough memory anymore to use more. And it's infuriating. So every time you update the core, you get less and less and less, and it's just so and this is not just, so this has become a primary problem on SQUiXL, which is what I'm going to work on today, but it's even become a problem on my Reflow Master Pro, which is running an S2, which has got less SRAM. It's only got 320K of SRAM. And I can't even now, I had to move to a new core, to a 3X core for my Reflow Master Pro because of some memory leak issues and some stuff with the async web server and stuff. And I can't now do a version check when it boots up and like it goes to my Reflow Master Pro server, doesn't send any data, I don't log anything. It just goes to see if there's a version update, yeah, when it boots. And only when you start the web server. So you've committed to going online. I don't even have enough free heap to check if there's a version update. I used to have enough. Even in an older 3.x core, I had enough. But now I don't. And so I'm having big problems with SQUiXL because of the different things that it goes online to grab, and I need to solve it. And I've been doing some really gnarly coding in SQUiXL to try to push things that would normally go in the heap into PSRAM. Hey, Simon. Yeah, that's unfortunately not a good solution, not a viable solution, Simon. Someone else also said ditch Arduino. So you got to remember, folks, if I move to IDF and develop in IDF, like as it is, not many people are confident enough to contribute to the source code, let's say SQUiXL, because it's a fairly large project, fine. But if I was to put that in the IDF, I'd eliminate 80% of the people that could possibly contribute, because IDF is a whole different beast that even fewer people know about, right? So if it's an open source project and it's a project that I want people to be able to use, modify, and contribute, then IDF is absolutely not the platform to code in. Sorry, unfortunately, it's just not, right? And to be honest, I've spent a lot of time in IDF in the last 2+ weeks. I'm not going to go into why. It's client project related. And I don't want to be living in IDF land, to be honest with you. 8-bit buffer would free up a substantial chunk. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't free up anything, Christian. So just, yeah. So, yeah. The first problem is, there's lots of problems. But with the Arduino core, they make a decision on how PSRAM can be used, and it can't be added to the heap. You can do that in IDF, and you can, obviously, that's how MicroPython works, that's how CircuitPython works, because it's all configured via the IDF toolchain. But they don't expose any of that with the Arduino stuff because it's pre-compiled. And you used to be able to, with Platform.io, kind of tweak your project so you could do some SDK config things and it would kind of recompile, but it doesn't work anymore. And it seems to be an issue with the S2 and the S3. It works with the original ESP32. Could be a PIO Arduino problem. I don't know, whatever. But the point is, I can't even use any PSRAM for the heap. Now, it gets worse. We're going to get into this in a minute. I'll bring it up. I'll bring up code and stuff. But it gets worse because they made a change in the Arduino 3 core where you can't now allocate anything that touches TCP/IP or anything else like that in PSRAM. So in the 2.0 core, you could allocate things that work on the network layer in PSRAM, and it used to work. I'm not talking about using PSRAM as part of the heap. Just in general, you could. I could create a HTTPS connection allocated in PSRAM, or I could create a task that does HTTP stuff that runs it runs in PSRAM, right? You can't do that anymore. They've locked it all down. Anything that touches TCP/IP must be in SRAM. So they've basically shrunk the available amount of memory, therefore shrunk the maximum size of the heap, which means fragmentation makes it worse, and they've give you no way around it. And pushing other stuff into PSRAM isn't so easy. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to start pushing some things into PSRAM to see if we can fill up a thing. Do they give a reason for this? Well, not really, but it's there. I mean, maybe I'm just making projects that are too big for their micros these days. I don't know. I don't know. So, no, it's not a bug. It's a decision they made. It's that they were having bugs and contention issue, whatever. They were having issues with allowing that stuff to be in PSRAM, and so they stopped it, and now it all has to be in SRAM. So they were preventing issues with that, but it's just made working with it just a nightmare. Anyway, I'm going to switch to here. So I've got a SQUiXL. It's actually in download mode at the moment. I did that on purpose. You've said their customers as primarily large corporations, not makers. No, not for Arduino. And no. So, well, they sell the majority of, it's not corporations. They sell the majority of their chips in China, and to people making little IoT devices. Or when I say little, I'm talking about, like you look at the Tuya stuff and all the home automation-y stuff. I mean, they ship millions and millions and millions of products a year. So they're buying millions and millions and millions of chips a year. What platform they're developing in is kind of irrelevant, because their code scope is tiny compared to something like SQUiXL, where all the things that SQUiXL does, right? So it's not a matter of who their target market is. Arduino is a maker thing, right? Yeah. Sonoff, Tuya, what was the other one? I think there's one other one. Shelly, right? They all use ESP32s inside, but they're all just little Wi-Fi switchy things, right? They're not allowing the user to go and connect to all sorts of crazy websites and download shit tons of JSON and parse it and blah, 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 right? Right, but there's only so many things I can move to PSRAM, and moving things to PSRAM is not easy anymore. You'll understand what I'm saying in a moment, right? So if you want to have a flexible code base, then with dynamic elements, like using standard vectors and standard map and stuff like that, all of those go in the heap, and there is no PSRAM heap, so they go into the main heap, right? And their nature of how they grow and shrink, the more you put in them and take out of them, the more they fragment the heap, right? As an example. So getting what's a good example? So being able to use a vector, hang on, let me think, jokes. Okay, so I have a struct called joke. Can everyone read this? I don't know what Sonoff uses. Yeah, I don't know what they use actually. Hey, SPOOXwood, just about. I'll make it bigger. It's just going to make it hard for me to code. Anyway, so I have a struct, right? Doesn't matter that these are strings for now, right? But I have a struct that is a joke. It's got a the question and the punchline in a joke, okay? And Hey Matt, how you doing? Oh, you're going to love this one. So, down here, because I don't know how many jokes are going to get downloaded, I do 5 at a time, but I can't guarantee I'm going to get 5, right? And so, and sure, I could put this into a fixed array, but that's not the point, right? Because you'll see later that it's way more complex than this. So if I want this joke to live in PSRAM, I need to set up what's called a PSRAM allocator for it. So, because it'll go into just the standard heap by default, right? So if I want to store the joke, I need to do a PSRAM allocator. And this is what a PSRAM allocator looks like, which allows me to put it into PSRAM if it's available, right? And so it's like just the level of, I mean, I don't understand enough. I got ChatGPT to help me with this, and it took a few times to get it right. So you know, don't trust everything you hear in or read in ChatGPT, but this does work, and it basically overrides where the struct stores stuff, or where the struct is stored, right? But that's not enough because the contents inside it is still allocated, like the strings are allocated on the heap, not in PSRAM. So then I've got to do something like, where did I put it? Too far. Sorry, I'm scrolling. See, it's gone too big now. Now I can't find everything. Oh my god. Hang on. I don't want async. Oh, I've got that in there. Right. Okay, hang on. I just realized what. Where's... Just bear with me a moment. Oh, it's on different things. Okay, right. So, here's my PSRAM allocator that's in my... I had to make an override for JSON because I've got all this JSON data coming in and out. And so one of the things I created was a PSRAM string that uses the standard string, which doesn't go in PSRAM, right? It goes onto the heap, but allows you to store. So instead of typing standard string, right, you type PSRAM string. So this is all stuff I've been doing for the last month to try to get more memory, right? And it's been working, and I've been getting it better and better and better. But these things don't ultimately free up enough of what I need, because it's not the big things. All my big things are already in PSRAM. It's the small things and things like initializing classes and stuff like that that don't go in the heap, but they go in SRAM. And so the amount of space available for the heap to start with gets too small. You need to derive your own string class from string. No, I don't want to use string. String is shocking. String, the overall allocations in string is way worse than standard string. Standard string's a much better string, right? Don't have to worry about having to pass by reference, and standard string automatically cleans itself up. And no, I've slowly been moving a lot of my stuff away from string. I don't want to be overriding string. I don't want to be doing string. But anyway, so I want to show you what the problem is. So I'm just going to reset, let this boot. Hope we have a terminal connection. Right. So it's loading. You can see terminal down here. And let's see what happens. So it goes to get the time. It's trying to get, here we go, straight away, bang. So it managed to get the weather. Went online, got the weather. Went online, got the RSS feeds. And it's now died trying to get the jokes. And why is it died trying to get the jokes? Memory allocation failed for SSL. Right? So all I did is boot up, and I did 1, 2, 3. I did 4 web requests, and by the 4th web request, there wasn't enough heap left, or wasn't enough contiguous heap left to resolve the DNS lookup for the SSL connection, and it fails, and that's it. And it'll just keep doing this in a loop now, and it'll never, ever, ever recover and never get there. Okay? And the thing is, the amount of memory that I'm out, look at this. I have 31,732 bytes, 31K, 31.7K of bytes I've got is my largest allocatable amount in the heap. And how much does this need? The SSL lookup needs anywhere between 32 and 38. Yeah, I don't think so. Right, so I'm out anywhere from half a K to maybe 4 or 5K. And it sounds like, oh, no problem. Should be able to get that back. Well, no, because especially if they've now forced a whole chunk of things has to be in SRAM or has to be in the local heap, and you've got no control over things now. So I need to start doing things like, okay, I need to stop this. This is just going to keep spamming. So I'm just going to put it back in download mode, right? That's why I had it sitting there in download mode. You can't. Espressive don't allow any network layer stuff anymore to live in PSRAM. So, and it gets worse every version. So I'm back on 3.1.1 because 3.2.1 gives me 4K less on the heap for exactly the same thing, and 3.3.0 gives me 7K less and has a memory leak. So this is using IDF 5.5. This is using IDF 5.4. This is using IDF 5.2, I think. Can you hardcode the website IP address? No, not if it's SSL, because it changes every time. So it needs to do the DNS lookup. So I already, for the non-SSL stuff, I already cache the, where's my controller? I'm already caching the DNS, the IP request here. The very first time it does it, I'm caching the IP, and then when it goes next time, but you can only do that with HTTP. You can't do it with HTTPS. I've tried everything I possibly can. Very clear, you cannot do that. It has to be, because every time it does, the way it resolves the SSL, it has to, you can't, yeah, it doesn't work. So, and so this is all running in a task, but it's not my stack size in the task, because if you look here, this stack watermark, I've got 12K of my stack size that I allow it to work in that has never been touched. So this is free, and it's never been touched, right? It's not the stack size. I can make the stack size 4 times the size and it'll still fail, but what it'll do, it'll make everything fail, because the stack size, the stack itself, gets allocated in SRAM, which means the amount of heap space shrinks. The more stack size I give the task, the less the heap size. And so suddenly 3 of my requests will fail instead of 1 will fail. Hey, Technoodles. So I have a plan, and I reckon I can get enough back to at least get all 4 of them going, right? But this is just, it's becoming a continued problem that's, you know, I'm seeing it here, I'm seeing it on Reflow Master Pro now. I wanted to upgrade my TinyWatch project to, because that's still on Arduino Core 2, because it was done a while ago. I'm scared of moving it to 3 because I'm going to have exactly the same problems. So there are a few things I can do, quite a few things I can do, like I do, and people are going to look at this and go, here's your problem, but it's not. God, sorry, everything's so big that I can't find anything. So I'm doing things like string. No, I don't want to show you that one. I'll show you a better one. Settings. Right, I'm doing stuff like this. Okay, this was written a long time ago, whatever. Succeeded, then it can do a web request. If the first web succeeded, then it can do a web request. I only do one at a time. I am only doing one at a time. It's in a queue. I don't let the second one process until the first one's finished and the callback to what called it has happened. It's not because I'm doing too many at once. There's not enough heap. I've been working on this for a long time. I'll tell you, there is this is a heap fragmentation, contiguous size issue. And I'll prove it because I'll get it working this morning. Anyway, I doing stuff like this, right? That is such a bad waste of memory. I know, right? And it's all done on the heap. But this doesn't get called until the user gets online and then goes to a form for this particular control, and it has to generate the HTML, right? So I can do a lot of cleanup on a lot of this stuff and have it. This will help. This will reduce heap fragmentation later, but none of this is touched on boot up, right? None of this is touched until the user explicitly goes and starts a web interface, right? I wonder if it could be made more. There's lots of things that could be made more convenient with macros. I get it. But here's the thing. What I need to do is find things that are, forget the heap. I need to find things that are going to free up SRAM. Not the heap in SRAM, but SRAM itself, right? So when you boot, let me just show here. And this is the biggest problem. So I've got a thing that logs, where? Okay, I didn't have this open soon enough. Let me, I want to show it to you. I'm going to reboot. Okay, here we go. Hello. Beep, 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 beep. There we go. I'm just going to put it back in download mode. Okay. Wait, is it in download mode? Yeah, good. So I've got a function that'll go through and give me a whole bunch of stuff, right? So here's the problem. At boot up, right, this has got 512K of SRAM. They are only giving me access to 241 of it to start with. So I'm losing more than half of the SRAM for all the other stuff they do. That's not going to win me anything, Christian. Like, I'm sure, yes, there are lots of things I can tweak here and there, but they're not going to. And it's not the heap that's the problem. It's SRAM outside of the heap, direct SRAM. Okay, so I've got less than half the SRAM to start with, and then of that, I'm using up just under 100K for all the stuff I'm initializing. So this is heap stuff, right? So, and then you look at the maximum allocatable in the heap is 80. So I'm starting off at 86K before it's even done the first web connection, right? I mean, that's my starting problem, and that just gets lower and lower and lower. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, okay, I have an idea. So I do stuff like this for convenience, right? Or let's start with the jokes. So because the jokes class only ever gets initialized once, right, as a widget, and then it gets used whatever, and it's only initialized in main. So my standard practice with my classes is I've got in the constructor, there's my class, and then I do an extern on it there, so I don't have to put extern anywhere spread all over the place. And over here, I initialize it. So in main, when I do import jokes here, that automatically does this. Like it does the widget jokes, initializes it, and that initializes the class in SRAM. Okay, so all of these things that are getting initialized at the start, they're all going into SRAM. And I think and this is all happening instantly when it all boots up, at the point where I need as much free SRAM as possible. So what I'm going to do, what I think is my best option, I'm going to try this, is to stick all of these in, all the classes in PSRAM. Now that doesn't mean that the things in them will be allocated in PSRAM, they won't. But the class itself, the instance of the class, I want to put in PSRAM. And it might only be a few K or less, but I have enough things I can put in PSRAM, at least for now, I reckon, to get this to boot and have all of them work. And then if I can get to that stage as a proof of concept now, then I know that I can then keep fixing some of the other things to eventually free up more and more and more, right? That's my plan, but I think it's what I've been doing on the Reflow Master Pro. Different scenario, because I don't have stacks of classes I'm initializing. So what I have to do now instead is, because that's not going to get initialized on the import now, I'm going to have to go jokes, can't spell. Why's that gone? God. And I'm going to have to initialize, I don't remember what this is. So I have a create UI elements function that gets run. So I'm going to, in here where it talks to widget jokes, initializes widget jokes, down here, I'm going to have to go, I've got to decide if I'm going to heap alloc it, heap alloc. The heaps cap alloc or just PSRAM alloc, and we'll go widget jokes equals I can't remember what it is. Heaps cap aligned alloc, no, heaps cap alloc, heaps cap malloc. Where's malloc? Heaps cap malloc. Heaps cap malloc. I've got to remember how to use this. Will it give me if I hover? Widget jokes and malloc. Where's PSRAM? Right, so I'm going to tell it to go into PSRAM. Why is that not going? Oh, hang on. I'm going to need to cast it, I think. What jokes equals that? Why doesn't it like that? Oh, it needs the size. Size of. Size of. Widget jokes equals widget jokes, heaps, caps, malloc. I'm pretty I don't know if I can just do
He
this.
says, well, this is weird on LIVESTREAM at 10 p.m. I must be in GMT : hello from London.
You're in London. Hello. Hey, Cable Tie. What you doing in London? Equals, I think I can also do a, can I do it? I'm not sure if PS malloc goes the same place. Like it without this. I don't know if they're the same. Does anyone know if they're the same? Well, the code style you want is called Pimple. What's Pimple? What? You're on holidays in London. Very nice. Very nice. I'm just going to stick to this. I don't know what the difference is. Okay, and then I need to do a new on it. Equals new. Oh my god, what happened to copy and paste? Try again. Equals new. I should just type it. Widget jokes. Right, and then, of course, I need to now use change that one anyway. And what's wrong with this? That wants a, it's already wanting a pointer. Okay, it already is a pointer. It is a pointer. So that should put the widget jokes in PSRAM instead of SRAM. I'm pretty sure one is not going to make enough of a difference. So let's do, there's quite a few I can do. Let's do RSS feeds. Maybe I'll be able to do this quicker. I should be able to now get this quicker. Assuming, wait, let me see if this compiles. Let me see if I've got my syntax right. If it compiles, I'll just quickly go through and I'll bang a few of them away and we'll see if we can free up more space. More space. Linking. Okay, yes. Cool. I'm assuming it might crash. Okay, just warning, it might crash. So, I need to do the same thing here. Main. Okay. I'm going to do these widgets. I'm also going to do these screens. I think going through and trying to do all of these.
Super chat!
How you doing, crazy boy? Thank you very much. 43,727,750 seconds to Christmas 2025. That's 43 million. Is it really? That's a huge number. Are you sure? Like we're in August already. But howdy. Is a disappoint. What? Anyway, okay. I need to got to now do the same thing. Let's do some copy and pasting because I am lazy. This way I can do copy and paste errors. So that will be that. That will be that. And then this will be widget RSS. This is your stuff. Matt. I blame Matt for this memory problem because of his RSS feed stuff that pulls down YAML. No, not YAML, XML. And manually parses XML. Discord coding. What are you showing me? Discord coding. Where's coding? Discord coding. Oh, Discord is not. Oh, here we go. This is Pimple. Class jokes imp. Class joke. Access an instance of joke. I don't understand what that is, but none of that's going to be implemented in PSRAM. What do you mean? I don't understand. your code actually downloads extra RAM. Oh, geez, why didn't you tell me? I'm not sure what this means, AJ, but whatever. Okay, none of this is going into PSRAM unless it's allocated inside PSRAM. So I don't quite sure I understand. Hey Dale, how you doing? I'm not quite sure I understand the relevance of that, but I don't want the pointer in PSRAM. I actually want the allocation for the class in PSRAM on the yeah. Unless I'm misunderstanding what this is doing, but I'm pretty sure that's 2. What else? There's more widgets. We've got time. We've got the BME widget. Let's do the BME widget. Okay, I'm going to stop talking as much and just get this going. You know what I might do? I might just get all these ready now, so I don't have to keep going back and forwards. It's a time, and I'll just type them. Where's the weather? Open weather. Okay, so we need widget. Oh my god. BME. No, I just did that one. Widget time. And widget open weather. Oh, no, it's not that. It's widget open weather pointer. Exposing all this global pointer stuff to users is a bad idea. It's already exposed. Whether it's initialized like this or like this, what difference does it make? It's not exposing it to my users. This is code that I want users to add to, modify, change. Like, it's not exposing it to them if they're not playing with the source. And if they're playing with the source, they can. I'm happy for them to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like, this is not an API that's supposed to obfuscate a whole bunch of stuff and allow people to only tweak this and that. This is the entire code base for people to, whatever. If people want to rewrite it and make it different, they can rewrite it and make it different. You know what I mean? You do open weather. Like, I'm not worried about what they have access to. Like whether they got access to a pointer in PSRAM or a instance in, you know, SRAM, like what difference does it make? They still got access to it. Has anyone noticed any, have I done any errors, any copy and paste errors? I mean, right now my aim is to push stuff out of SRAM. Like, I think I only need a small amount of memory to prove this is going to work. Where's my time? Let me do time here. As I said, I'm anywhere between half a K and maybe 4 or 5K is all I need to do to have enough for that SSL connection. At least for boot up anyway, right? If I can get that going, okay, did I do, is that all? Oh, there's also battery. Let me just do battery. I know I haven't done the top stuff. And just having stuff living in P, oh, that was not right. Oh, idiot. Oh, I want to do screen main as well. I will update the screens. Widget battery, can't spell. I need to, where's widget battery? Okay, you should be somewhere the size of all your global echo class. Log somewhere the size of. Yeah, I should. You're absolutely right. I need to put more logging in here and do that. But as you saw before, my logs are just full of shit. I need to clean them up as well. So, but yes, you're 100% right. I could be changing things right now that are inconsequential. I get it. I know. But also, I want to, if I'm going to do this change for one, I want them to be consistent, right? At least now these widgets, they're all consistent. So, you know, like the time widget and the battery widget, they're pretty tiny in terms of code. Okay, it's linking, which is good. Okay, let's see if this is enough. Enough. It is nuffy, yes. Enough. Enough. Enum. Let's see if this is enough to get it going. Gotta remember to switch. Now, I get that the SQUiXL project does a lot of stuff. It's got a lot of peripherals, and it's got a lot of, you know, added a lot of fancy visuals and stuff that, for a microcontroller anyway, right, that is really abusing the use case of a microcontroller. Oh, good, it switched. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, weather, got the RSS feed, got the weather, and got the jokes. So you see that? It resolved the jokes. 31732 internal block left. Largest eligible. So that just worked. That was enough. Again, I don't know how much I needed. So that's another thing, which, and this is not an Arduino or Espressive issue or whatever else. Maybe there is a way to do it, or maybe there are in other development environments with C++, there is another way to do it. But not being able to say, show me all the things on the stack. Show me all the things that are in the heap. Show me all the things that are in SRAM. Like, that's just really, I know it's not a managed memory environment, but not being able to see what's in it. Like, if I could see what was in the heap, I could go through and just go, oh, look at this, and look how big this is. This is the thing I want to do, right? Use stream JSON parser instead to save more memory. This is the lightest weight, cleanest, least allocating JSON library, full stop, right, that I could possibly be using. It's streaming isn't, so you got to remember, I'm not up to the JSON part yet. When this dies, it's not dying because I'm out of memory because of JSON. It's dying because it won't even resolve the SSL part of the DNS. The DNS lookup is failing, right? And it doesn't matter what order I do this in, because if I did the jokes before the RSS feed, before it parses that, or before the weather, whatever I do, the last one's going to fail, right? I think you can do it with GDB. Can you? But is there that's what I'm saying. I'm sure there are profilers you can get in general, but I've searched all over the place for a way of profiling what's in the heap in a Arduino project, right? Because it's got to be, well, anyway. And yeah, I couldn't find anything that would allow me to inspect it, to actually tell me what the items are. Okay, so that did work. I want to make sure that actually worked. I'm going to reboot it. I want to check that that's not just an anomaly. Well, I can see here, look, my heap size is bigger. My initial heap at setup is bigger than what it was before. So I've pushed, I don't know how much I've pushed. Okay, that just worked again. All we're doing is just regular C++ program. Right, but doesn't it need access to a whole bunch of build things like the ELF and the blah, 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 and the blah, 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 and the blah, blah, blah to be able to go and inspect and give you that data? I don't know enough about that side of C++ to understand. Like, I get that it's just a regular C++ program, but I wouldn't even know where to hook things up to be able to find the things it needs. With IDF, it makes that easier because it doesn't hide all the build stuff. I mean, I'm sure inside here in the build, SQUiXL, like, look at all these, I don't know. Okay, there's an ELF. What else does it need? You know what I mean? Like, and then the different libraries. I don't know. I don't know enough about how all this stuff works. But but in Platform IO, it doesn't use that structure, and there is no temp. It's all inside this PIO thing, I think. So, but I don't expect other people are going to have to get all that going to be able to work on this, right? Okay, so that just worked twice in a row, and even though it's showing me fairly close to the same amount of largest allocatable internal block, the fact is, as I said, I could already see here. Do I have my old log? No, closes it. I can just see, because I know what this stuff is. I can see here already that my minimum heap size has gone up. Here, remember I said it was 86? Now it's 94. So that was 8K. My max allocated heap size has gone up 8K. And this was like 140 something, 148. That's like 10K. Now, I don't know how it all... hey, Mad Techie, I find it hard to believe that this freed up 10K. That's a huge amount. But Okay, so so some really other stupid things that I do, because you remember this project evolved, right? It was started off as something that was going to be a bit smaller. Um, Issues would be in compilation options of library. What do you mean, Amory? The issues would be in compilation options.
HMS says because of dynamic allocation instead of static.
Okay. So I do stuff like, I know you're all going to go, what the? And this is always on my list of things to clean up. But where am I setting server path? Oh no. So this one is fine. Here you go. Open weather. This is ready for this one? You're all going to go, what? Look at this. That's a bit nasty. It only has to do it once, but there's a lot of concatenation there. But this is all a PS RAM string. Sorry, it's all a standard string, right? But it's still going in the heap. But the way the cost of concatenating this is nowhere near as bad as the cost of concatenating an Arduino string. But what I can do is make this a PS RAM string now, and also make these PS RAM strings. So even though it does its concatenation, it all happens in PS RAM and not on the heap. And now I can just do that. So stuff like that, I'm hoping I can. Now, one thing I didn't get working with the PS RAM string, which really sucks, I can use it for whatever. I can use it for all stuff like this. I can even use it in structs and stuff that I serialize, that I store, sorry, that I load off, Flash or whatever, but I can't use it to deserialize. For some reason it crashed. Sorry, I can't use it to serialize. There's something in my conversion of my JSON. So this JSON library is what I use. It's the NLO Homan, Lohman, Nlohman, don't know how to pronounce it, which obviously is not set up to work with PSRAM, but then I did an allocator for it on top, and it'll put all of these things into PSRAM. Obviously not the contents. The contents themselves also have to get put into PSRAM. String reserve, so that it's not realloc 10 times for each operation. General is heap fragmentation. Sure, but if it's in PSRAM, it's still, I guess, fragmentation in PSRAM, but it's still, okay, so if I do a reserve, do I have to know, what's if I don't reserve enough, though? So if it's empty, do I pass it an amount to reserve? Hello, why can't I click on that? Oh, wait. Doesn't it take a parameter? Well, I don't understand what reserve does. Just gonna leave that out for the moment. So I don't even know what cost there is for a lot of these logs, right? I'm assuming there's an overhead for this, but that should go on whatever happens inside here should go on the stack, shouldn't it? Because it's inside a right. But do I pass reserve a value? It doesn't look like it takes a parameter, does it? Handle-based allocation system and garbage collection. No, I won't. I promise you I won't. But if I'm right, if I've got this working now, but I'm right on the cusp still, then it's just going to happen again. Right, so it's just using the stack. Okay, fine. It's so, hey Matt, am I allowed to click on the RSS feeds code and show people, or are you going to get pissed with me? You're going to need to go through and clean all these logs out at some point. Just saying. I don't even know if Matt's still watching. Okay, I'm going to click on it. I didn't write this code, so don't start on me. This is all the RSS stuff. Admittedly, a lot of this stuff is all these debug prints, which don't do anything. Right? They're switched off at the start up top here. I haven't got around to showing Matt that there's a already built-in way of doing all this. We don't need all that using the info print stuff. But
Matt says go for it.
Yeah, too slow. Already did.
Matt says yeah, I was just looking at that.
String basic reserve as a reference. Okay. Let's look at. Oop. So reserve. If new cap is greater than the current capacity, new storage is allocated. Capacity is made equal to that, whatever. So reserve. So I have to use a what const string standard string size type. What? So I can't pass it an int. Oh, there's a shrink to fit. Interesting. So I can set it really big and then shrink it. I wonder how long. Okay, here's the I'm showing everyone my API key. Whatever, I'll just change it again. So that's the URL it creates. How do I find out how many characters that is? It's not going to tell me that. There's no. Is there a way in Visual Studio Code to see how many characters? See, I'm doing the DNS. I'm doing the IP address lookup here, so it stores that because it's not a secure connection, so I can convert the URL to an IP address. Yes, love me some defines. What? Oh, right. There's no way of, how do I tell how many characters other than me going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that was 100. It's a bit over 100. Yeah, but I've got to run code to do that. Hey, Dave. Like, I don't want to have to run the code and to print it out to find out how long it is. Okay, so if I allocate here, so it was, but hang on, that was with the IP address, not with that. Doesn't matter though, right? It's all about the allocations. If I make it 300 and then I set it and then I can do a shrink. Can I do that? So if I go int before equals string length, I want to see what it is. Oh. Can I pass it standard string like that? Or is it like that? Or does it want, do I need to do a, why doesn't it like this? I don't know what that is. The squiggly. After. Yeah, it did it again. Maybe I just don't need that. Don't know. You had all the UI objects all statically declared at the top. UI objects all statically. You're talking about in main? All the other ones? Yeah, I need to do a lot of those as well. I need to convert some of them. I'll do serial.printf URL len before, after, I'm just curious to see what it is. Oh, right. That's a very good point. No, but won't this one here, won't it show me the length of the reserve, not the length of the string? It hasn't been shrunk yet. So that should show me 300, shouldn't it? Doesn't matter. Let's find out. Let's see if this works. So, Anne-Marie, you're talking about all of these UI elements? There's a lot, yes. But I'm going to convert these. I'm not even using that. And I'm not even using that yet. Star main equals null pointer. I'm going to do all these as well while we're at it. Okay, let's see what this URL prints. Before 113, after 113. So that, why is it showing me the length? It doesn't matter about the allocation? Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, but then do I need to call shrink? Why would I don't. I'll have to read through that document. Don't quite get the context length, not the memories. Oh, right, because it's going to the end of string marker ish. But do I have to call shrink then? Like if I reserve 300, then it becomes 113. Haven't I just fragmented that chunk of memory? Anyway, if you're going to throw the object away, no, don't bother shrinking. I'm not throwing it away. This gets stored. So it's, well, yeah. So this gets built and stored. And the very first time it gets called, if it's not built yet, it builds it. It only builds it the one time. Calling shrink can be another allocation. So this full server call is used all the time, that variable. But it's in PSRAM now, so it doesn't, I'm not overly worried. I say that now. But, you know, this is going to all be very unhappy shortly. Okay, let's start with here. Oh, I can't remember the allocation. What's the allocation thing called again? Do you think I could remember heaps caps malloc? Nope. Okay, so screen settings. Let's say UI screen. Okay, there's going to be a few. Oops. What happened? That was a. So can I go find that? There's 5 of them. Replace it with that. How's that for lazy coding? Look like the things you are concatenating have a length members, so you can call to figure out what space to reserve. Okay, I mean, that's another thing I can do. Yep. Thanks, Johnny, about the capacity. I'm less worried about putting it into, see here, I do the same thing again. Look at this, and it's on a string. Far out. I need to fix a bunch of these things. I will. I will fix a bunch of these things. Main, 11 references to screen.main dot. Okay, and then MQTT. There's 3 main screens at the moment. 3 main screens. 3 screens on the device that you can slide between, the settings, MQTT, and the main one. But obviously, I want to add more. There was references up top to more. I want to get rid of or add to the Wi-Fi manager stuff when it boots, rather than showing a screen that says Wi-Fi manager is running in the background. You can connect.
Matt says just going back and looking at all that debug stuff I added to fix that crashing issue. WTH was I thinking? Face with tongue.
I want to add the Wi-Fi manager stuff on the screen. So the first time you boot it, I want it to actually show the Wi-Fi networks, and you can select the one you want and do all that without having to use your phone. But when I went to set that up, it was quite a while ago, when I went to set it up, there was not enough memory. Like, I kept running out of memory. You know, another screen, another whole bunch of buffers that got to go in PSRAM for the screen, and, you know, more class, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, oh, interesting. I'm going to have to do, they also want those. Is that gonna? I wonder if that's gonna crash. So by just starting to put all of the screens in PSRAM, it means adding more screens will go in PSRAM. Oh, of course. It's looking for pointers. It's already done. Okay, let's try that again. I just need to set up better practices for all these things. So, you know, from now on, screens go in PSRAM. Full stop. No. Let's run that. Let's build it. As in. But I wasn't even sure if this was going to work, if I was going to get enough back. So I'm feeling quite good about this first pass at optimizing. If I can get it to reliably connect to all of the different web stuff, connectivity issues aside, but I'm talking about purely just on the device from a memory point of view and stuff, then I'm much more confident adding more features. I've stopped adding features because I was at that memory limit. Right, now we're at 164 of a total of 257. So that's like an extra 20K, almost 20K, and 102 maximum allocation. So all these PSRAM initialization, I mean, it's not, no, at that point it's not hit any of that string stuff we just did. This has made a big difference. Much bigger difference than I actually thought it would. It gives me hope that the same changes in my Reflow Master Pro will give me enough back for the SSL connection, for the version check. That's actually really cool. I'm quite shocked about how much back. So this still shows me this though. I don't understand. That's supposed to be my largest allocatable block. Maybe that's a fixed thing. Maybe I'm not calling the right thing. Malloc cap 8-bit malloc cap internal. I want to find how big my allocation can be only from internal. Don't know. I do not know.
Amory Jacko says you should overload operator new in your objects and do the SRAM allocation there. I wouldn't even, how do I override new? What? Huh? So you're talking about getting rid of this and doing a new, let's say like new PS like this. But I don't want all new to do it. I don't want every time I use new to go into PSRAM necessarily. So I don't want to override it. But you're saying there's a way that I can override it, and this here would be inside the new bit, right? But where would the malloc be called? Okay. I need an example. I need to see an example. You remember, I'm still a C++ noob. I still class myself as noob. Is one of the 6 bytes. Yeah, I don't know what that call is actually, what it's doing. As in what it's supposed to be giving me back. I thought that was going to give me back the largest allocatable block, right? Contiguous block. See, this here says max allocated heap size is 102, and largest allocatable block here is saying 102. So this is at the very start where clearly it doesn't think that's fragmented, but that number goes down quite a lot. I don't know. Check example here. Remember, what about 3 states lower than noob? Because that's, well, I'm lower than noob then. That's not fair. No one can be lower than me. Wait, where did that open? Okay. Oops. What the? I don't know what just happened then. I'm trying to get to that web page. Or maybe it opened in the background somewhere. I can... Yeah, no. That's nice. Actually, I need an actual working example. Is there a working... Oh, okay. Further down here. Right. Okay. Sorry. So... So what's the difference between all of these? Do I need all of those? No, surely not. Yeah. Oh. Void operator new. I don't care about delete. I don't need delete because they don't get deleted. They get deleted when you shut down the device or you reboot. they're always there. They need to be persistent all the time. I don't know what the new and delete. So is it worth me doing? Okay, the question is it worth me doing this and obfuscating what's happening? Like, so I also don't have unlimited PSRAM. Like my PSRAM goes down a lot because all of my screen buffers are in PSRAM. So if someone wants to add a new screen, like do another UI screen, there's a stack of PSRAM that gets used for that, right? A stack. We're talking about like 1.2 megabytes of PSRAM is used for every screen. So, yeah. But I get it. It's just saving a line of code, right? I can look at doing that, sure. Right now, I just want to, like, I can optimize all this. I'm trying to think what else I can put in. Oh, I just wanted to show you. Check this out. If you want to look at nasty PSRAM stuff. Or did I take it out? I might have taken it out. Hey Graham, how you doing? I hope you're well. Hope that everyone in the family is well. Right, I took it out because I was getting some weird corruption. And I still got it in here somewhere, I think. Where's SQUiXL? SQUiXL. Right. So, hang on. I'm not using it anymore. Oh, actually, maybe I am. In my payloads. Wait. I took it out of the line stuff, but I might have left it in MQTT, did I? Yeah, look at this. This is how I'm putting all of the MQTT messages that are coming in into PSRAM. I don't even understand that. I got this far without this less pair const stuff, and I couldn't get it working. And so, like, I thought it was going to be, it's going to be a syntax error, but whatever. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, the map. Yeah, something like this, right? Blah. To be able to store a map with a PS. What am I doing? With a PSRAM string as the key. And then, but I wanted this vector of the payload to live in PSRAM. So I want the payload to allocate in PSRAM. I thought that looks pretty straightforward to me. But apparently you can't do that. And you need to add all this extra shit. Okay, this was me. This was ChatGPT. And I said, can you explain this to me? And oh my God, first sentence, I was lost. I had no freaking idea. But anyway, it works. So that means all the MQTT messages that come in and are stored in PSRAM, including the vectors and the map that stores them. My brain is out to lunch. My brain hasn't even come home from last week yet. So, like, you can see the level of stupidity I've been going to try to get as many things into PSRAM as possible. But these things weren't really freeing up my heap, because these are things that don't happen unless someone goes to that, and activates it and does stuff. It's all way past the boot up, which is why I started working on this. Like, I said to myself the other day, these are the earliest things I'm initializing. The very, very first things that are getting initialized. Main is my entry point. So clearly, this is where I need to be looking at moving stuff out. And I think that's worked okay. So if I do, okay, I just want to see something. So in my setup, I'm just before it kicks over into loop, I want to I'll get rid of those in a moment. I want to do a serial dot. I'm curious now to see from a size of. Yeah, this has been successful. This has been more successful than I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest with you. I thought you were all going to laugh at me, especially AJ, and tell me I'm wasting my time. I'm curious to see, now that he mentioned it before, what the Can I do that? Or does it have to be a... Yeah, I can do that, right? To tell me how big that class would be? I hope so. So I've got tab group, slider, toggle, text box. I think there's more. Trust me, I'm laughing. Are you real? Thanks, AJ. Thank you so much. You're such just a generally nice guy / shit stirrer. Oh, I could put my keyboard in. Oh, the keyboard in PSRAM. Yeah. The key. No, the keyboard gets. Not sure. Okay. Let's see. I'm curious to see what it says those things are. One thing is declarations like class, instance, variable name end up automatically allocated on the heap. You mean like this? You're saying this automatically gets allocated on the heap? Oh, do I need to use... Is it you? That's unsigned. Okay, well that might not work. I thought these go into just RAM, not heap. These go into SRAM. These don't go on the heap, from my understanding. Well, it's printed something. They look reasonable. That'd be how many bytes? The slider would be the largest class out of all of those. Okay. Either way, if it's going in the heap or it's going in straight into SRAM, the heap's in SRAM. So either way, I'm freeing up SRAM. Interesting. Okay. Oh, where was... Now I'm curious to see what my keyboard is. That, do I even... I might not include it here. Might not be imported. Bummer. I've got to find out where it is. Imported. Let's get rid of that. Those numbers do not include any other objects that are allocated from those. Yeah, I know. I know that. But again, a bunch of classes, just the classes, if I'm saving 1K per class and I was 6 or 7K short, that's why that's working, right? This is why it saved all that space. I know that's what I said at the start, that what's allocated inside doesn't go into PSRAM, but the class reference itself, the class storage does, or strings. Yep, I know, I get it. I know. Where am I? Oh, it won't be. UI keyboard.h. Boom, boom, boom. Just want to print out. I guess I could just include it. I could just import it here, just for now. I just want to see how big it is. I have a feeling that this one I should definitely put in PSRAM. Size of UI keyboard. What? Oh, I'm an idiot. What have I actually called it? It's not UI keyboard, is it? No. Okay. Yay for consistency. Okay. I keep looking up like this to compile. My old microphone is sitting in the way of the button. I can't see where the button is. Button. Okay, so this gives me a plan going forward on how to clear up some more space. And a plan for, there's a whole bunch of string stuff I can move over. So, yeah, the two challenges, more RAM on boot, more internal RAM / heap, contiguous heap on boot, and stop fragmenting as much of the heap or fragmenting PSRAM later on with all the string concatenation. They're the two. These things happen way later in the process or user interaction period. Oh, great. Let's try that again. Serial didn't come up. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. They're my tasks. This is good. This is good. Wait, where did it print? Keyboard. Anyone see UI? Oh, here. 908. What? What? I know I optimized a lot of it already, but I would have thought the class. I would have thought that all of this would have taken up more space so, compared to my, I guess my UI text box pretty complex as well. Never used Visual Studio for C++. What? Visual Studio. Just Mauser class name tells you its size and layout. Yes, I know. For full Visual Studio, which isn't available on the Mac anyway. So, interesting. I just would have assumed that, like, I'm not even allocating the keys in PSRAM. I know this isn't included in that 908. Like, I know, I'm just so looking at whatever. Anyway, whatever. The point is, we're good. We are much better off than I thought we would be.
HMS says Versus Studio is on Mac. Comes with Unity.
Yeah, no. We can argue on this, but it's not Visual Studio code. It's not Visual Studio. It is absolutely not Visual Studio. I don't care how they've rebranded it. Never was, never will be Visual Studio. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Mr. England? What was it called? What was that open source .NET? Who are those people called that then got just bought out by Microsoft, whatever, and they've disappeared now? It was that IDE that they call Visual Studio on the Mac. It's not even close to what Visual Studio for Windows is.
HMS says it's a close cousin from Boston D.
Yeah, no, it's not even a close cousin. It's a totally different, 100% different code base, functionality, feature set, platforms it can do, and everything else. And it's all built on that open source tech. And it's, yeah. Right, but it still wasn't Visual. So Visual Studio, like the full-on Windows Visual Studio, right? The full-on one, yeah? Never been available for the Mac. The Mac version of Visual Studio has always been a derivative product that only worked with the .NET portion of stuff. And you couldn't even do like a full-on C++ project with it like you could do on Windows.
Says Microsoft doesn't like gilded cages. That aren't theirs.
What was it called? What was the name of the remember the .NET framework that Unity shipped with for the Mac, because there was no .NET for Windows for Mac at the time. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. I used to live in it for like a decade, but I can't remember the name of the company. The name of the anyway, whatever. It was that. That's all it ever was. Monodevelop. Yes. Yes. It was a rebranded and extended version of Monodevelop. Right? No, it wasn't Novell Mono. It was God, what was the anyway, I can't remember. It'll come to me eventually. It'll come to me as soon as I stop the stream. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, it was not Visual Studio, never was. And no, it wasn't Novell. No, whatever Novell Mono is now, it was predated it, all of that stuff. Monkey logo. See, now I want to know. Original developers of Mono Develop.
John Clayton says, changing the subject. What have you done with your Sinclair, if anything?
No, I haven't touched it since. I've been busy. Yeah, no. Haven't touched it. Sorry. Kind of packed it back in its box and it's sitting on the desk over here.
HMS says squirrel time.
Is it squirrel time? I don't know. You know what it is? It's toilet time, toilet break time. So I need to mute. And back in 5 minutes, folks. I'm back, and I remembered who it was that did mono originally. It was Zamian. See, it's worth going to the toilet sometimes. So hello, Turan visitor. How you doing, Jay? So Zamian were the original developers of Mono, which was the open source .NET framework. The open source C# .NET framework. Eventually, I think they got F# and some other things in there as well. Things looking good. And so Zamian, and so Microsoft bought Zamian, and it was Zamian Studio became Visual Studio for the Mac, and yeah, totally different code base, totally different everything. And I'm being snooty about it because Microsoft should have made Visual Studio for the Mac. They should have. But Visual Studio on Windows, well, I don't know what it's like these days, but it was just dog. It was so slow. Awesome features, but it was just so slow. So when I was working on consoles, even with Unity, once you built your Unity game for PlayStation, it got pushed into a project that you then had to do the rest of it in Visual Studio on a Windows box, and oh my god, it was just yuck. But I'm sure it's much better now. I hope it's much better now. So should I? Does it still crash a lot? It used to crash a lot. Was it really that good back then? What are they up to now? Visual Studio, so it's obviously 2028, which is version what? 3555? Yeah, there's a lot about the Microsoft software that went downhill around that time. Delphi Pascal. I did move to Delphi after Pascal, but I still preferred. Was it Ball and Pascal? Yeah, baby. Woo! Sorry. Uncrashed a lot, but assume it's because I have the Core i9. That's right. Yeah, it's the better your CPU, the more it crashes. Oh, Visual Basic. Oh, Jesus, someone ought to be shot for ever developing Visual Basic. Oh, so they're stuck on 2023 now, are they? Visual Studio 2023, 2025 edition. Yep. Okay. Should I try doing that overload? I reckon I'm just going to break it, but we'll try it. This way, if I do it live, you can all just tell me what I'm doing wrong. Yeah. So do I need a throw? Do I need what do I need? What's the minimum? I just want the minimum I need. I don't understand why that's in here twice. Oh, is that for an array? What? I don't get it. So, okay, so I need to add, so if I go to screen, UI screen in here. So is it in public? Wait, I just lost the web page. Well, everything's public in Struct, so it needs to be in public. Is this where I overload it? Okay. It doesn't matter that it's going there. Basically, you add an operator new method that does. Yeah, I understand that, but I'm talking about the syntax of who just pinged me. Oh, okay. So I need standard def. Hmm. 2022, that's even worse. So it doesn't like operator. What am I missing? Do I need IO streams just for printing stuff out, right? Do I need to include new? Robot operators use replacement. .x. So that's. But I don't know. What do I need to count, or is that the size? I still don't understand. Like I get you pointing me out those docs. What I'd love to see is an implementation in a class living in Arduino land, or you know what I mean, or something that isn't just a boilerplate. Because this is not how. Or is it that it doesn't go in the, does it go in the class here? But the one with count is what you want to allocate an array of them. Right. So I don't want. Okay, let me just go back to. There was something with a pointer. Okay, hang on. Let me just put this in here. Messing with Pascal. That's what I've got here, Chris. Static void operator new.
HMS says see Discord.
Yeah, I'm looking now. As I just said to you, like that's what I've got. Do I need this? Okay, so I need the standard size, but okay. But so I don't want, okay, I just want to do this though, don't I? I just want to go return. I don't know. You don't have that malloc, you don't have the operator stuff in it. Right, I don't want that, that's why. Okay, I just want to go, right, so I just want to return this. Do I? So I'm going to return that. And I don't even need any of this. So you're telling me this? Well, this. So I don't want to double allocate. So I need to get rid of these other. That should do. Let's see if it compiles. Yeah, I'll put error checking in after. I just want to make sure that it didn't like the operator thing. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, that's much nicer, sure. I wish there was a way of making it clear that that was going into PSRAM. I guess I could always do that. Locates into PL, locates. Who's pinging me? Let's see if that worked. Okay, well, it worked because it didn't crash. And you can see from here, from the logs, that it's working in a queue, that it's doing one at a time. Okay, that's awesome. Thanks for that, Emery, for suggesting that. Cool. Okay. See, stuff like this, that could just be an array, right? It's a fixed size. It doesn't change at runtime. So this could just be a pointer to an array, a fixed array that's in PSRAM. But I could also do PSRAM string and the tabs themselves. Yeah. So that the vector itself is not in PSRAM, but the strings are. Tab names. So at least they now live in. What? Create an empty macro and use it like an attribute command. Screen settings equals new PSRAM. How do I do macros? macro. Why doesn't it like this? Okay. Right, but what's that doing? Define PSRAM. Oh, so I can just write PSRAM there just so they know it's going into PSRAM, but it doesn't do anything? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you mean? So that just puts a space or a nothing there. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. See, all of these strings that are being created for all of these UI elements, I mean, these can all be, oh, they're all constant char stars, fine. Still, they're not allocating in PSRAM. I could just make them standard string. Actually, I don't need to. That's just a pointer, right? Oh, but I have to. No. Okay. I don't want to do a new on it. Okay. Anyway, fine. See, in my later code, like these are later things. This was done much later, actually. I started trying to be a bit better with my concatenation stuff and whatever, and used SNPrintf, but yeah. I still have to go back to all my older code. Like I started doing things like adding, like for the cached character sizes and, you know. Anyway, I have tried cleaning a lot of this code up. It kind of grew very quickly out of control, as all of my code does. It does nothing. It's just documented. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm quite wrapped with this. This is a really good, very happy. Over 20k extra internal block. Thank you everyone for that help. That was very cool. I going to be much more confident about pushing this update out. So yeah. Wow. Okay. I got nothing else to tell everyone. I mean, I got a whole bunch of boards I need to sit and test. I could just fire up the test jig and we can just chat. Shall we do that for a bit? Okay, that's in the way. Just move my camera out of the way. Get away. Let's do some test jig board testing while we. What do you want to chat about? I'm happy to keep the stream going and keep chatting. What am I doing? Some more refactoring to do, but you have the main gist of what. Oh, I have a lot of refactoring to do. Absolutely, like there's just a lot of lazy, especially the string concatenation stuff and the things that, like. So this was something that was always on my list to clean up. I showed you earlier that like this is nasty, 100% nasty, because I wasn't going to use any of this. Where is it? I wasn't going to use it. I was going to do it differently, but this is where it builds dynamic HTML, right, for the web form. So every time generate HTML is called for every control, form control on every form on every page, every time the page is loaded. And this is run every time because I don't cache it. It never changes. Okay, field name is set once at the start when the class is, when the instance is created. Not only do I not do that at instance creation, but I do it every time you call build the page, right? So it's doing a, I mean, this, it's all temporary, right? But that's just insanity. Look at it. Replace, lowercase, replace, 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 concatenation, 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 concatenation. That is nasty code. And it's on every string option type. So every string option type, which I've got, there's float range. I mean, there's no actual list. Or here, there's these are the different types. Theme's not used anymore. They're all the different types, and each one of those generates HTML, and each one of those does that wasteful thing. It's just, and I don't even check first, because this was just, as I said, quickly get it out onto the web, right? Get the web server going. You don't need Oh, plus you can just do foo bar woot. What? What do you mean naturally concatenate? Anyway, anyway, so like for instance, for this option string, there won't be a sec, and there won't be a min, and there won't be a percentage because it's a string, right? These are for sliders, but I just copy and pasted. Look, actually no, that one I optimized. Oh, that was done later. But I mean, and look at this. Like, look at this for building the HTML. Because there's no easy, or I mean, there are better ways I can do this, I guess. There are better ways I can do this, but just in general, you know, I can't stick any of this in Flash, you know, like in an F string, not F string, but you know what I mean, like, or whatever, because unless I created a variable for each one. Anyway, I wish there was a nicer way to do stuff like this. And I'm sure there is, but out of my pay grade. But anyway, lots of stuff here I can clean up. See, here it is again for a vector, which it wouldn't be. It's a list of ints. Here it is again. Here it is again. Here it is again. Again. I mean, I could at least go if index of, you know, I could, you know, if index, is it capital? I can't remember. Index if fn dot index of sec is greater than -1, then do the replace. Like, even that would be better, because then it wouldn't run this. But really bad. Lazy C on code. You can remove the spaces also. In what? You're talking about in the HTML? What? No. What spaces? What do you mean? Where? What? Anyway, let's move on from that. We're going to move on from that. I can't look at that anymore. I've done a really good job of showing you all just exactly how lazy and bad I've been. But that's enough self-flagellation for today. Self-flagellation? Is that? Yeah, that's reasonable. I'm just starting up the test jig. Do it. Go, test jig. Go, go, go. No, why aren't you starting? Oh, it started. Good. And I need a... So these are Feather S3Ds. So, of course, I need to test both antennas. I've only got 75 more to test. Well, that's not true. I have to build another batch. These are all gone. Plus some. Yeah. Yes, HTML doesn't use... Right. No. It's got to be readable. Sorry. I don't generate HTML that looks like shit that's unreadable as source, unless it's going to go through like a minify thing. That's different. But when I'm debugging HTML that I'm generating on a microcontroller, I need it human readable. So no, I don't do the no space. I try to do as much nice formatting as possible with tabbing and everything else. So it's shit. I didn't turn the Wi-Fi test things on. Okay, hopefully they came on in time. Testing board. They did, yes. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Yeah, self-depreciation. Yes, whatever it is. Browser developer tool can display it for the user. Doesn't matter. Whatever. I like nice, readable, laid out HTML. Makes it really hard to debug otherwise, and I don't want to rely on. Anyway. Yes, it's just the way Xeon does it. Yeah. And then I need to move a lot of these optimizations over to TinyWatch. So many things. Did you sort out that TinyWatch, that BME thing, Matt? Was it your platform IO? Coding link naturally concat strings. Naturally concat strings. Oh, I don't need the plus, is what you're saying. Really? What? No way. Really? Right, but will that work with string? So AJ's saying, hang on. Oh. Why? Oh, I moved the camera. How funny. It's looking at my... Yeah. AJ's saying this, that you can do const char p equals foo bar without the plus. But I'm not building my HTML as const char star. I'm building them at the moment as string, and like as in Arduino string, and that's because of unfortunately the async web server stuff needs it reads and writes strings for the parsing of the inline parameter parsing thing, and I haven't got around to converting that over. Works with all of your static C strings, but it doesn't work with Arduino string. Yeah, okay. Anyway, another thing to look at, but I can fix a lot of that concatenating, I think. I hope. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It doesn't matter. I keep looking at it. C++ is full of surprises, yes, and full of traps and pitfalls and spikes and flying axes and poisonous darts. And yes, I'm thinking about Indiana Jones. But anyway, can't get past unknown package. Error, could not find a package with me. No. Oh yeah, that's not used anymore. That's not that's read only. It's not a, you need, right. There's a pull request in there that I haven't actioned yet, that uses the new ESP async web server. It's so you'll need to change that. If you look at, so hang on. It's used here. This stuff. It's the ESP32 async web server now. Right, I think I just tested this one and didn't. Anyway, whatever. Can't do two things at once. So, but there's a PR, I believe, in the repo. But he changed some other things that I need to do testing first. Because that project's still on, from memory, it's on 2.0, like core 2.0. And I don't know what issues there are going to be with the new async web server with 2.0, because it relies on a few things. The async TCP relies on some core 3 stuff, I'm pretty sure. I'm positive that there was, unless there was a bug that they fixed, I'm positive that I couldn't get the async TCP stuff to work with Core 2, which is why I had to move my ReflowMaster Pro code base to Core 3, which then gave me that whole heap issue there as well. So I need to go back to the watch project and look at moving it all over to Core 3, latest async web server and async TCP, and then it's just another thing on my list of things that are not 5 minutes worth of work. It's 5 minutes if I want to leave it in a crashing, untested state, and it's like hours and hours and days of work to actually get it where I believe it's reliable and stable enough that I'm happy to push an update. Like I've had an update for SQUiXL ready to go for a while, but I hadn't wanted to push it because of that whole, 1 out of 5 times it might load the jokes, but 4 out of 5 times it would run out of memory and then just start spamming logs. And I didn't want to ship it that way. And it's the same. I don't want to do the same thing with TinyWatch. So, but I'll get to it eventually. I promise. Definitely before 2037. Okay. Yeah, I'll get to it. Okay, folks. I think I'm going to go. I think most people have gone to sleep already. Jay's about to leave as well. Yeah, 27 people left. I think everyone should go to sleep unless you're in Australia and you should go to work. You should be working. What are you looking here for? I'm keen to burn more RAM with my new TinyWatch phone. Yeah. Well, interestingly, there's we're really not using a lot of the PSRAM for memory. Some things are in PSRAM on the TinyWatch, but it's only got the 2 meg PSRAM version, and it's only quad SPI. So, but there are definitely things I can push into PSRAM. But we never really had a memory problem on TinyWatch. It was all about performance, I think, and battery life because of the small battery. Anyway, thank you all for joining. And thank you for the help in optimizing that stuff. I really appreciate it. Very cool. I will catch you all next week. I hope you have a good week. Exciting week. Hope you get to make something cool or destroy something. Magic smoke something. I might do that tomorrow. Okay. Bye, everyone. Take care.